The dry grass trembled before anything could be seen. A deep, thunderous vibration rolled across the ground, the kind that travels through bones before it reaches the ears. Hidden inside a patch of tangled brush, 4 tiny lion cubs pressed themselves flat against the earth. Their small bodies shook uncontrollably, their wide eyes fixed on the shifting shadows ahead. Then he appeared. A massive Cape buffalo burst through the brush like a living storm, his enormous head lowered, horns curved like sharpened blades ready to tear through anything in his path. Every step, he took crushed branches, uprooted grass, and sent dust swirling into the hot air. He wasn't wandering. He wasn't grazing. He was charging. The cubs didn't understand death, but they understood fear. Instinct froze them in place. No roar came from them, no cry for help. Only silence, trembling, and the shallow rhythm of terrified breaths. They were too young, too small, too exposed. Not far away, Ranger Marcus gripped the steering wheel of his dusty truck, his knuckles turning pale. His heart pounded violently in his chest as his eyes locked onto the unfolding nightmare. He had spent years in the wild, learning its patterns, its balance, its harsh rules. He knew better than anyone that interference could destroy that balance. But he also knew those cubs. He had seen them days ago, tumbling over each other beneath the watchful gaze of their mother, a powerful lioness, known in the area for her fierce independence and unmatched determination. He had quietly named her Sombra because she moved like a shadow, silent, precise, unstoppable. And now her cubs were seconds away from being crushed into the dirt. Marcus's breath caught in his throat. He scanned the area quickly. No sign of Sombra. No warning growl. No golden flash of movement. Nothing. The buffalo was getting closer. The ground shook harder now. Dust filled the air. The cubs huddled tighter, their tiny bodies pressed together as if that alone could protect them from what was coming. Marcus felt a surge of heat rush through him. Fear. Adrenaline. Something deeper. He knew he couldn't shoot. He wouldn't shoot. This was protected land, and the buffalo wasn't a villain. It was just another creature acting on instinct. But doing nothing? That wasn't an option either. Before his mind could fully catch up, his body made the decision. He shoved the truck door open with force and stepped out into the open. The air felt heavier outside. Louder. Alive with danger. He moved forward, his boots crunching against dry earth, his eyes locked on the charging beast. Every step he took felt like stepping closer to the edge of something final. The buffalo snorted, its breath visible in short, explosive bursts. Its muscles rippled beneath its thick hide as it prepared to close the distance. Marcus raised his arms instinctively, trying to make himself look bigger, louder, anything to pull attention away from the cubs. But before he could shout, before he could even take another step, the world exploded. From the side, like a bolt of pure force, Sombra launched herself into the scene. She didn't hesitate. She didn't slow down. She hurled her entire body into the buffalo's shoulder with a brutal impact that echoed through the air. Dust erupted around them as claw met flesh, as power collided with power. Her snarl tore through the silence, raw and filled with something deeper than anger, something ancient and unstoppable. The buffalo staggered, momentarily thrown off balance. Sombra moved with terrifying speed, slashing at its face, aiming for its eyes, its nose, its weak points. She knew exactly what she was doing, but the buffalo was enormous. A wall of muscle and fury. With a violent twist of its neck, it shook her off. Her body hit the ground hard, rolling through the dirt before coming to a stop. Marcus felt his chest tighten painfully. The buffalo turned again, faster this time. Its horns dipped low, aligned perfectly with her fallen body. This was it. Everything slowed. Marcus didn't think. He ran. His legs moved faster than he thought possible as he charged straight toward the danger. He grabbed a thick branch from the ground without breaking stride and hurled it with all his strength toward the buffalo. It struck the animal's side with a dull crack. The effect was immediate. The buffalo stopped. Its massive head turned slowly, deliberately, until its dark, burning eyes locked onto Marcus. Now he was the target. Marcus froze. Every instinct screamed at him to run, but he stood his ground. His chest rose and fell rapidly as he faced something that could end his life in a single second. The buffalo lowered its head again, muscles tightening, hooves digging into the earth. Marcus closed his eyes. And then, a blur of golden fury leapt into the air. Sombra was back. She landed directly onto the buffalo's back, her claws digging deep, her jaws locking onto its spine. She held on with everything she had, her entire body driven by one unbreakable force: protect her cubs. The buffalo bucked violently, twisting, spinning, trying to throw her off. Dust and dirt swirled around them in a chaotic storm of movement. But she didn't let go. Seconds stretched into something endless. Then, finally, the buffalo broke. With a final, desperate shake, it dislodged her and stumbled back. It hesitated, just for a moment, before turning away completely. And then it ran. The ground trembled again, but this time the sound faded, growing weaker, disappearing into the distance until there was nothing left but silence. Marcus dropped to his knees. His body felt heavy, drained, like all the strength had been pulled out of him at once. He struggled to catch his breath, his lungs burning with every inhale. Slowly, he looked up. Sombra stood a few meters away. Her chest rose and fell sharply. Her muscles trembled from exhaustion. Dust clung to her fur, and faint streaks of blood marked where she had fought. For a moment, neither of them moved. Marcus knew this moment mattered more than anything before it. He lowered his gaze slightly, keeping his posture calm, non-threatening. He didn't reach for anything.
He didn't speak.
He just waited. Sombra watched him. Then, slowly, she stepped forward. Each movement was careful, measured. The wild energy that had fueled her attack was gone now, replaced by something quieter, something deeper. She closed the distance until she stood just inches away from him. Marcus held his breath. She lowered her head and gently touched her nose to his shoulder. Time seemed to stop. It wasn't aggression. It wasn't warning. It was something else entirely. Something understood without words. Marcus felt his throat tighten as emotion surged through him. His hand trembled as he slowly, cautiously reached out, brushing his fingers against her fur. She didn't pull away. Instead, she leaned slightly into the touch. For a brief moment, the world felt different. Not divided between human and wild. Not ruled by fear. Just connected. Then she stepped back. She turned her head toward the brush and gave a soft, almost inaudible signal.
The grass shifted. One by one, 4 tiny cubs emerged, stumbling clumsily toward her. Their fear was gone now, replaced by excitement, relief, and the simple comfort of being close to their mother. They pressed against her legs, climbing over her paws, nuzzling into her fur. Sombra lowered herself to the ground, wrapping them in her presence, licking them gently as if to erase what had just happened. Marcus watched, silent, still trying to process everything. After a moment, Sombra stood again. She looked at him one last time, not as a threat, not as prey, but as something she recognized. Then she turned and disappeared into the brush, her cubs following close behind. The grass swallowed them completely, and just like that, they were gone. Marcus remained there in the dirt, staring at the empty space where they had been. The wild hadn't changed. It was still harsh, still unforgiving. But something else existed within it too, something rare, something powerful. A moment where instinct made room for understanding, where survival crossed paths with compassion, and where, just for a heartbeat, 2 completely different worlds met and chose not to destroy each other.